here.
Hi, I'm Dan, and you're watching my reactions to Runaways Season 1, Episode 6, Metamorphosis. A title that I'm pretty sure I understand, as we see specifically Karolina really come into her own as she's shifting and she's changing, both societally, but also magically flying about. But also, of course, there's this direct reference to the book Gert was talking about, that the security guard was reading, and I'm sure there's probably some more like floofy reasons what that's about. I haven't read the book, but I read a little bit about it. Insects and transformation and such. Let me know if there's like a bigger meaning there. But as you may obviously have known by now, there's going to be spoilers in this video, and I'm going to take you beat by beat, tell you my favorite moments, my silliest moments, all that jazz, and we're going to start with the opening flashback. So, today we got to see the very first sacrifice, complete with everybody making snarkier remarks about wearing robes. When I first started seeing this, I was like, I don't know if I want to see this. I don't know that I need to have every single point explained to me, because in some way seeing it makes it sillier as opposed to like leaving it in the mystery. At the same time, it is good to have some concrete facts thrown our way, so by the end of this, I was on board. I think that it was important to point out that even though people had sort of sold their soul to Jonah, they didn't really know what they were signing up for, with the exception of apparently Victor, who made the machine and therefore knew that energy, matter was going to be turned into energy and all that jazz. Leslie, who has some bigger deal going on with Jonah that I'm excited to find out. And Tina, who set them all up, did the camera, and she knew, she felt that she needed to do this, that if Jonah was willing to do these kinds of things to kids, who knew what he would do to them or to their families. So there's some interesting gray area stuff going on here. I also like how it sheds further light on how people like Gert's parents didn't really know what they were getting themselves into and wanted out, and had become making these plans to get out there because they felt like they were trapped. They felt like Jonah was going to go after them if they tried to leave. And so this is why they made their dinosaur. This is why they tried to get all this money and try to go to a remote land. They didn't think that they had a way out, and they were trying to plan it to save their kids as well as their own necks. It certainly casts those big three as like the main antagonists. But certainly everybody was willing to be selfish enough to be like, I don't want to go to jail, I'll just murder all these kids and keep quiet about it. So there's definitely some not so good stuff happening with all these people. Now, I like that as much as we have learned significant things about the parents here and about the beginnings of these sacrifices and why they're doing it, why they feel like they have to do it, it's still a question of, well, if Jonah is dying each time, he doesn't exactly look like when he's Scabby Man that he can do much to them. Why don't they just kill him or not do another sacrifice? So that leaves that as a big question, which I'm sure is going to be answered. And then the other question I have is, why does Jonah need like this group of people? Why does he need this many people? Couldn't he have just grabbed like just the three I mentioned? You know, why does he really need anyone other than Leslie and Victor? So there's definitely a lot more to peel in this onion, and we'll see where it goes. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Next up, we have a lot of parental bonding time. I really liked getting to see Karolina and Frank actually spend a scene together, show that they have a little bit of a bond, and have her ask why he's not part of the Pride, show that she still has some hope for one of her parents to be okay, and to show like a different dimension to Frank and a more human dimension, because it's been so much about him being like suspicious or like trying to figure out what's up with his wife, and it's like it's hard to connect with that much. But I really like this scene with Karolina. And then we also get scenes with Tina and Nico, where they're bonding over the use of the wand, and there's some sort of magic explanation, some sort of science explanation. They kind of want to be like, oh, it might be science, but it's clearly magic of some kind. I don't know of science that you can just think, I want to make snow, and then it makes snow. Now, like, I guess you can make a weird sci-fi thing, say that the snow is somehow made by science, but like, can it just do anything you think of? Because I don't think that's gonna work. Anyway, we find out that it takes a sample of your blood when you use the wand, and that it's checking your DNA, and that's why Tina and Nico can both use it and nobody else. My question is, I don't remember her bleeding after every time she used it before. Did I miss that? Am I forgetting? That seems like a weird thing to bring up now, considering I didn't notice it before, but maybe that's just me. And then we get a bonding scene again with Chase and his dad, and them sort of bonding over the fistigons again, and him being, they're kind and they're fun. It's just very father-son, which leads to this bigger question throughout the episode where both Chase and Nico are starting to be like, I don't know about this, guys. I don't know if I want to send my parents away forever. They seem like they might be cool. I'm not sure. Are they murderers? Are they nice? What's going on? This is, of course, really furthered throughout the episode as they both find out about the affair that their parents are having, which makes them feel more sympathetic to Victor and more sympathetic to Tina as we see their more human emotional side, and they know that they're not just cold-blooded killers, and that it gives them some questions of what are we doing here. Now, the question I have that I think would be nice to be brought up on the show is I think it's weird that none of the kids are talking about what happens if all of our parents go to jail. What happens to us as the kids of the people in jail? As everyone now knows that our parents are serial killers. And do we have money? What's going on? Are we going to be shipped away? Are we going to be homeless? What's happening here? You could answer all that, I guess, by saying, oh, they're heroes and they don't care because they have to do what's right. But it seems like something worth bringing up, at least. So the big thrust of this episode is everybody getting all fancy in preparation for this big fundraiser put on by Pride to promote this school that Jeffrey is using his real estate stuff to put together. And so it's the first, like, super OC level episode of Runaways, and I say that because it's shown by the same people that created the OC. Everybody's going off to a fancy event, putting on the special dresses and all that stuff, and so we get this big scene with Karolina and Nico getting dressed together, putting on the makeup and the clothes and the things, and it's flirty, and Karolina is definitely full-on looking at Nico. And it's like, well, is Nico looking back? I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I wouldn't be shocked if maybe she was bi or something. She clearly likes Alex. I don't know where this is going, but it's an interesting thing for Karolina. And Gert, she eyes her and she goes, oh, I see something's going on there, and we'll get back to that in a second. But during this scene, before Gert comes in, Karolina's saying, like, now that she knows she's a freak, it's a little bit more freeing. Now that she knows everything that she'd been working towards her whole life is a lie, she can just be who she really is and who she wants to be and honest about herself. And she starts to maybe come clean to Nico, and that's when Gert and Molly just barge on in there. And then it seems like that throws off Karolina for the rest of the episode to a certain degree. This leads into a very fun scene of a little music video slide scene where they're in the limo, everybody's together, they're side flirting, people are seeing each other. That's like, oh, he looked at her, oh, I want to look at her, oh, but he looked at him, and oh, what does that mean? And it's all visual, and then it ends with Stan Lee, who is driving the limo, and that's great. I love me a good Stan Lee cameo, especially when he's Stan Limo. I'm really hyper today, guys. I don't know if that's obvious yet. So then over at the fundraiser, we have Frank meeting Jonah. And it's like, ooh, tense. And Frank has like this flash, and he suddenly remembers that he once saw Jonah bang his wife, and he's like, damn, what's going on here? And then we find out later, and I mean, a lot of us saw this coming too, that Dale had used that drug that he had to help people lose memories on Frank, and so now, but apparently it's not working totally because now his brain's being jogged. Also later, Jonah and Frank reconnect again, and there's tension again, and but this time Jonah talks to him about Ultra, and he's like, you did go Ultra, you just didn't realize it, so something's going on there. I'm excited to see what happens with Frank. Again, don't think he's long for this world. Jonah wants to be Papa, and he can't be Papa, Frank's Papa. So, you know, bye-bye Frank. Back to the whole love triangle, insanity, quadrangle, six-way love fest thing. We have Gert talking to Karolina and being like, I saw that you like Nico, and I totally support you in your lesbian ways. And then Karolina's like, oh, fuck you. I know that you're just saying that because you like Chase and you just want to get rid of me, and you're not actually being supportive, and I'm uncomfortable about this. So that's subtext. And so she's like, I'm going to go have a drink with Chase. And then Gert's like, I don't like him, blah, blah. So it's an interesting thing with this weird sort of love triangle storyline. It's certainly interesting and different because of the Karolina sexuality factor. And they are still showing the two of them as being friendly and not totally just blowing up about these guys stuff. It's more about their own personal stuff a little bit more. But at the same time, it's making it hard for me to connect with Gert when so much of her stuff is about being jealous. Sort of a stick in the mud. I like the actress a lot, and I think that she has a lot of charisma, so I hope that they can make her a little bit more likable, I guess is the word. Because, yeah, it totally did feel like she was just saying these things to get Chase. And that's not cool. But that totally throws Karolina for a loop. She was ready to talk to Nico, but I guess, like, having someone actually confront her with it was too tough, and she realized she wasn't totally ready, so she starts drinking up a storm. Then we have Chase going after her. They go up on the roof, and she's drinking on the roof, and she's like, I'm all upset, nobody understands me. And then she falls off the roof, but she flies with her glowing powers. And that was cool. I like me some flying. I am, again, a little bit worried about these effects becoming old, but it was cool. And I'm excited to see where that goes. If she can start flying all around town saving people. Also, he is so much more powerful than like anybody else right now. So, OP a little bit. But we'll see. But her near-death experience leads to Chase kissing her, being like, I didn't want you to die without me kissing you and telling you how I feel. And she's like, oh, that's not how I feel. And man, I've been making a funny voice. And that leads me to a bigger question I have about all the sort of love stuff going on in this show. We have Karolina, Chase, and Gert all liking people where it seems like their liking is doomed to fail. Karolina likes Nico. It doesn't seem like Nico is gonna reciprocate considering her feelings for Alex. We have Gert who likes Chase, who Chase is clearly into Karolina way more. And then we have Chase who likes Karolina and she's clearly into women. So it's an interesting thing. It certainly feels different. At the same time, it's hard for me to like super connect with the ship type stuff in this show because a lot of it seems doomed to fail, and then we just have over here on the side Nico and Alex being adorable. But I'm excited to see where they might go. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll throw me for a loop. Maybe Gert and Chase will eventually turn into something. Maybe, who knows, maybe Nico and Karolina might actually work out. You never know. What do you guys think? On the flip side of Gert being likable, I did enjoy her sort of attempts to flirt with the security guards, them playing Star Wars. Also, as a side note, we also got a Tron reference this episode, so we get Star Wars and Tron. It's nice that Disney owns everything and can make all these pop culture references that actually tie back into their properties. It was just a fun little thing. I think the funny thing of the guy like kind of liking Gert and then being awkward, and she's like, oh, it's gotten too far, but thanks anyway, and leaves. I just thought that was funny. A good little sequence. Now, Gert does this because the thrust of this episode is Alex and Nico trying to get into Tina's office to steal files that were from that camcorder that was filming in the basement, the Sacrifice Dungeon area. And they know that the files go straight to her server. They want to get the files to expose their parents. So as Gert is flirting with the security guards, they're upstairs. We have this interesting little sequence where Alex knows the passcode to Tina's office. He seems to lie about why he knew that later on. To me, I think it has something to do with Amy, who I believe is the name of Nico's sister. Anyway, I think it's gonna have something to do with like her birthday or something, and they both cared about her, and he doesn't want to tell Nico because it's like weird. It's like, I liked your sister, but I also like you, and you're kind of a replacement for her, and what's up with that? And that's weird. Meanwhile, the parents have their own drama. And there's some sexy drama as Victor finds out about the affair, and then he like reveals it in front of everybody, and he's like, I'm all upset, and then he has like a brain attack and he faints and it's all upsetting, and everybody's like, holy shit, he's really sick. And then Chase tells them all about the brain tumor, and then Jonah's like, I need him, so he injects him with this crazy shit. He's like, I found it from a guy who has extraordinary antibodies. And I was like, is this some sort of Marvel character reference of some kind? Or is it just like, I know all the special peoples? I don't know. Not enough information to really go off of there, I don't think. He injects him. He supposedly cures him of brain cancer. It's interesting again to know that Jonah needs them. Not sure why. They already have the box. Why does he need these people? It's interesting. And also we have a little side thing of Dale stealing the formula. I missed all that. It was pretty dang obvious. I don't know how Jonah wouldn't have caught that. It felt a little silly to me, but what you gonna do? By the end of the episode, we have two last major things happening. We have Jonah meeting Karolina for the first time and her being like, what the fuck is this weird guy? And why is he like all up on me? and why he seems so interested in me. And honestly, I felt like that meeting was a little bit of a letdown. Like, nothing of major consequence came from it other than him being creepy and her being like, And then over on the bigger cliffhanger side of things, we have Molly slightly letting it slip how much she found out, how much she knew to Alex's mom about the whole situation. I'm excited for next week to maybe be a little bit more Molly-centric. And that is a big deal because now Alex's parents and, you know, the Pride in general will know that Molly is a problem. It's going to be interesting to see what the Yorks do about that, if they're going to not be told, or what's going to happen, if they're going to try to sacrifice Molly, what they're going to, like, where they're going to go with that. I do think as they start to find out more and more of what the kids know, that might lead into the actual running away from the title. I'm excited to actually get there. I'm wondering if we're not going to get anybody actually running away until the finale at this point, considering we're 6 episodes in. Those are my general thoughts and recap. What do you guys think of episode 106? I think it was probably my favorite yet. It felt like the pacing was really on point. All the characters got interesting bits. It just felt enjoyable and fun, and like we're in the thick of the season now, and I'm not so confused about what's going on anymore. I feel like I have enough for where I'm at this point, whereas at some point earlier in the seasons I was like, I feel like I need more for where I am in the season. The characters are great, the actors are great, I'm excited for more, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. So please leave me your comments in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this episode. Let me know what theories you have, what you're excited to see, what ships you love, all that sorts of stuff. And I'll see you guys next time.